Hey, I'm Mike Matheson here with Sports Excellence in my hometown rink, the one that I grew up playing in, and I guess there's a plaque of me somewhere, so we're gonna go find it. When I was 1, I started skating. I mean, I probably wasn't skating much, but I was on the ice, and then started playing ringette actually when I was 2 for 1 year because my sister was playing ringette, and then I started hockey at 3. I'd say that just being able to go out on the outdoor rink and play all day, all night with my brother, my sister, my dad, my mom, and all my friends throughout the neighborhood. We used to have a rink in our backyard, and our family friends that were a couple doors down had one too, and so we'd always have 2 or 3 rinks around the neighborhood that we'd play at, and we'd often have a little tournament between the families where we'd play on one rink until it got too snowy, and then we'd all load up into our family friend's pickup truck, head to the next rink, play there till that one got too snowy, then go to the third, and you know, that was when I fell in love with the game and started dreaming of being able to become an NHL player. Yeah, I'd have to say my dad. He was all of our coach, my brother, my sister included. There were some years where he'd be the head coach of one of our teams and then the assistant for the other 2. And so he ran all over the place coaching us, and one of the things that I think he was so good at was that he was a great coach and really taught me a lot, but then also realized that once we left the rink, he had to be my dad again, and so when we got back in the car, it wasn't still me driving home with my coach. It was I got to drive home with my dad again. I mean, enjoy it. It's just being able to walk around here. I started thinking of different things that I experienced when I was younger playing in this rink, and the game of hockey is so much fun, and the second you try to make it a job or you try to make it more than just something that's a lot of fun to do, is when you can lose sight of that. And you know, even for myself now, I need to remind myself of that a lot, because playing in the NHL has a lot of pressure, and it can get difficult at times to stay positive, but you have to realize that being able to play hockey is one of the best gifts, and to be able to call it my job is pretty amazing, and I'm really lucky to be able to do that. I'm really not sure. Luckily, I haven't had to answer that question just yet. But you know, that's why I went to school and why I went to college in the States, is to make sure that I had a backup plan in case something happened where I wasn't able to be a hockey player anymore. And so I studied psychology in college, and that's always something that has interested me. Playing college hockey was a lot of fun, just because of the fact that all your fellow students were at the games. The school band was playing at the game, and you'd always have such huge rivalries between the schools. And so for us, it was BCBU, and even now, whenever we meet in the pros, there's still that kind of rivalry, and we always talk about what's going on with our 2 teams. And I think that's one thing that college hockey especially has over any other type of hockey, including professional hockey, is that you know, BU is 20 minutes from our campus. Whenever we played, it was a huge deal, and everybody on campus would be talking about it all week leading up to the game. The student sections would be packed with both schools cheering on their teams, and you know, they'd have their separate cheers that they'd go back and forth with. Our student section would always say "sucks to BU," and then they'd go back with Sunday school because it's a Jesuit school, and so that constant back and forth was really fun to be a part of as a player. On game days, I usually have a lot of chicken and rice and vegetables. I do switch it up every once in a while, because you know, you end up playing almost every second day throughout the season, and so if you're eating the exact same thing for every game, then you're eating the exact same thing every day. So I do switch it up a little bit every once in a while. The first year I got invited to it was a huge whirlwind. I spent the pretty much the whole year in the minors. Got called up once for 3 games, and then got called up right at the end of the year and played the last regular season game, and had no intentions of playing in the playoffs. I thought I was going back down, and next thing I knew, I was in game 2 and in game 3 and so on through the whole series, and we didn't end up winning, so I had to go back down and join my teammates in the AHL in Portland for that playoff series. Then we didn't win that one either, and so it was just such a whirlwind. And then all of a sudden, right after that last game with Portland, I got a text from my agent saying that Hockey Canada wanted me to go to World Championships, and it was just such a surprise. I mean, with everything that had happened in the past couple of weeks, I definitely wasn't expecting that call, and it was so much fun to be able to represent my country. And all of a sudden, I was in a tournament playing with, you know, Taylor Hall, Connor McDavid, Corey Perry, all these guys that had already made such a name for themselves, and so it was a great learning experience. I think guys try to keep it loose but never want to go too far, so I don't know if there's ever one big prank that has worked out or that somebody has tried, but we definitely give it to each other about every little thing that comes up, and are pranking each other on a daily basis. And so, you know, we have long flights and they tend to get boring, and so I remember one time, I can't remember who it was, but somebody fell asleep kind of lying across all the seats instead of sitting upwards. And so we have a bunch of blankets on the flight, and we took probably in the end about 30 blankets and layered them over the row of seats and taped it in, so that once he finally woke up, he was basically in a huge tent that he couldn't get out of and had no idea where he was. That was pretty funny.